Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back. Episode 3 of Highly Taken. Here I am back again from Tallahassee, Florida, Tallahassee.
This is Christian Smith back at you from Wilmington, Delaware.
Nick back here, Jacksonville again. Hey guys, let's get it.
All right, so I believe the first round of order today, we are going to do our results on the Dubs and Chugs. We're going to see the winners, going to see the losers. I can tell you that I definitely did not win, but we will see who gets punished today.
Yeah, let's get it, guys. So sitting over here, we did the 3 games a day. I started off pretty hot on Friday. I went 3-0. A lot of highs going in. Thought I was gonna pull it out. Second place, I had 5 of them right. Not terrible. Then he got first place with 6, which is unreal. Did pretty good. Christian got first place this week.
I think I got like 2.
David came in with 4. No big deal. He had 4. Not bad. Only 1 behind. I was a little nervous. So our deal is he has to go ahead and chug this beer.
For those audio listeners out there, I'll try to do as much ASMR I can for you.
So, the last game was, the tiebreaker, the Mariners-Tigers game. I believe Christian picked 6-4. I think David picked 7-3. I picked 5-3. Final score is 5-3. I should give myself some extra credit for that, but all good. Did you finish? You all good? Did you get it? Let's go, baby.
The warmth. I should have done it for the warm one.
Hey, it happens, man. That's why it's a punishment. It's not supposed to be something you enjoy. So let's get this started. We're gonna start with our predictions of what we're sitting with the NFC South and the AFC South. Let's start with the NFC South. We'll start just like we did last time. We'll start with Christian, see what he has going on.
Yeah, so for me, I don't see the NFC South as a very strong division this year. However, that being said, I do have 2 teams going over 500 on the season. Winning the division, I have the Saints at 10-7. I think Carr comes out with a pretty decent season. I think he's going to go for 3,500 yards. I think Kamara also goes for 1,500 total, rushing and receiving. And we see a nice little flash in the pan of a prime Mike Thomas return here. I think that's going to play big. I think it's going to be almost like the Tay Adams Carr had over in LA. Obviously not as good. Tay Adams is the top 3 receiver in the NFL, clearly. But Mike Thomas, when he's healthy and when he's on full go, you can argue the same thing with him. He's a top receiver as well. Sitting in second place in that division at 9-7, I have the Bucks. I think Baker shows out in his own way. I think he will throw for 3,000 yards. I think he also goes for 26 or more touchdowns with only 11 interceptions. We're gonna see probably a wild card spot out of them because it's a weak NFC conference. That's my take. That might be a little bit of a hot take, but that's how I see it. I think with Baker at the realms, they'll be good enough to manage their way through a very crappy division and pull themselves into a wild card spot in a weak NFC.
David, I thought we were saving hot takes for last, but apparently Christian just wants to start out with one to start.
I agree, but we're gonna let him keep going on his other teams right now.
It's cool. Come back to me at the end of the season, boys. Cool. Sitting in third place in that division, I'm gonna have the Panthers going 5-12. I think we're gonna see a lot of flashes from Young. I think we're gonna see a lot of things that not we personally, but the Panthers would like to see in their first overall pick quarterback. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy, but again, I think we're going to see good flashes from him. But the problem is with them is the team is just underdeveloped. They have good playmakers, but they're not top guys all around the ball. They're only guys that, at best, like they might have had their one great season. You look at Thielen, he had like 1 or 2 great seasons. You look at Sanders, this was his first year with over 1,000 yards. So it's not a crazy stacked team, but at the same time, they have some people around there that can make some plays. And sitting in last place in that division is the Falcons. I have them going with a 3-14 record. I think Desmond Ridder starts the season, but I think Taylor Heineke finishes off the season.
Ooh.
I think a lot of the time you will see the Falcons compete in most of the games, but they're not going to find a lot of success. And Ritter's not going to take the steps that they believe that they need him to take in order to become a face of the franchise at a certain point. I think it's going to be another rebuilding season for Atlanta. They have some good key offensive pieces there, but there's no quarterback. And so that's going to obviously play your biggest role in everything here. And so I think just another, almost like a tank season, trying to get, a good quarterback pick.
Yeah, I found that very interesting. It just seems it seems interesting going for a quarterback like Ritter, and then just saying, "Oh, okay, we'll go ahead and tank now."
Yeah, exactly.
I guess to your point, though, we'll talk about it later. But I think the Titans are kind of in the same situation right now. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
But for me, I like going reverse order. So at my fourth place, I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they're going to go. I think they're going to go 4-13, and I think they're going to finish the division 2-4. Brady's gone. Like, obviously Brady, I mean, he can make any team that's garbage be really well, but now you got Mayfield or even Trask, who knows. It's with Mayfield, it's so hit or miss. Depends on who you get, what decision making you get out of that. Now,
Yeah.
I still think they have the same wide receiver talents. They still have Mike Evans.
Godwin.
Yeah, and they still have the talent around him. I'm not sure how they are at running back right now. I know Fournette is gone.
Yeah.
You got Rashad White.
Yeah, Jones, I think. Ronald Jones, I'm not sure if he's still
Chase
there.
Edmonds.
Did he go to the Chiefs? I'm not sure where Ronald Jones is right now.
Yeah, no, they got Chase Edmonds as their number 2
Edmonds.
right now. Yeah.
It just really just depends on how Baker does. And I mean, he had some flashes in the pan there last year with Carolina, some flashes in the pan there with the Rams, but I just don't see them going that far. Now, the division itself is awful. So it like last year was the most competitive division, because there was like 3 or 4 teams in the hunt with like 3 weeks left, but they're all under 500. So
exactly, yeah.
So this next one, number 3, I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons. I say they go 5-12, divisional 3-3. QB, again, the lingering question is, where to that guy? I personally don't think he is, but we'll have to see. I think it was really interesting they went running back that early in the draft. They had Tyler Algier. They also had Cordero Patterson. I was very surprised it went that early with running back. So they got Jesse Bates in free agency. That's a pretty good safety they got there. And Drake London and Kyle Pitts are 2 young core receivers. Obviously, Kyle Pitts is a tight end, but he's more of a receiver. So it'll be very interesting to see with that young offensive core if they can really do anything. But again, it comes down to quarterback. I just don't think Ritter's that guy.
Right.
In second place, I have the New Orleans Saints coming in second place with a 9-8 record. I have them going 4-2 in the division. Yeah. And Derek Carr is definitely a step up from Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton didn't have a bad season with that team last year, and Phil Winston wasn't given that fair of a chance in New Orleans. I feel like it was a pretty good signing. What Kamara and what Thomas are you going to get next year? Are you going to get healthy? Are they going to be hurt? Olave is a baller, and I just don't want him to go through a sophomore slump next year either. Defensive wise, I'm pretty sure they're a pretty mid-pack defense. I don't think they were that great of a defense. But in a division like the NFC South, you don't necessarily need to be, because not that many people to worry about. Yeah. So which gets us to my surprise pick at number 1. I have the Carolina Panthers winning the division, going 10-7 next year. 3-3 within the division. They got Miles Sanders this year. They picked up Thielen this year. They picked up DJ Chark this year. They picked up Hayden Hurst this year. They even picked up Von Bell on defense. They also just got, I mean, I feel like a bunch of good mid players is better than most of the division they have here.
Yeah.
They got Frank Reich as a head coach this year. I love Frank Reich. I feel like in Indianapolis, his GM did not give him a fair shot with his quarterbacks. No. Carson had an okay season, but then they got rid of Carson and they settled with Matt Ryan. So he wasn't really given a fair shot. They got Bryce Young, rookie. So yes, obviously it's going to be a hot take winning that. But he does have veteran Andy Dalton as his guide this year. And the Carolina quarterbacks coach is none other than Josh McCown, which isn't a bad person to have to sit underneath as well. The team still has Chuba Hubbard. They still have Chenault. They still have Brian Bird, Shaq Thompson. They got CJ Henderson and JC Horn at corners, which are very young. And they even have Eric Rowe over there at corner as well. I have not really a hot take, but I think they could go out and sign a Clowney or Ngakoue before the offseason's over. I feel like they don't have that much unavailable cap space to go out and sign a pass rusher for them.
That's true.
I think with that much young talent and a new coach, I think they can get on track in a very, very weak division. Now I'm happy to see that Stroud and Young are going to be playing each other this season, and you'll even have Young versus Richardson in back-to-back weeks. So that's going to be very interesting to see that. But yeah, that is my hot take for the NFC South.
That's
That was hot, bro. That was boiling hot.
yeah. I mean, yours was too.
Mine was too. But Panthers
Now,
get 10 wins and first place in the division.
I really think the NFC South is going to be a joke yet again this year. Almost a layup for any team, in my opinion, besides their division. I mean, they have a pretty tough schedule, but I'll go through mine. I have the Falcons sitting at 3-14, just like Christian. I mean, you just don't know what Ritter's gonna do. He hasn't had a full season under his belt, and I mean his wide receiving core is London, Mac Hollins, and Scotty Miller is his three starters. Yeah, you have Kyle Pitts there, but he's still unproven. I mean, he looked great with the Gators. We always thought he was going to do something sitting there. That was their pick going in. But I don't think Kyle Pitts is the guy that they think that he is. That could change. He could come out there and play, but you can't tell me there's been a game that Kyle Pitts has looked like a superstar tight end, and that's just where I question.
Yeah, but it's hard when
he hasn't had a quarterback.
Yeah, it's hard when you have Ritter or Mariota throwing you the ball.
Right.
No,
I mean, I get that, but his position is, you check and go. So like, he's sitting there, should be open most of the times. I mean, he's quick. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if who's the one with the hairiest chest right here?
He's on camera.
I was wearing a hockey sweater. That thing was I was sweating. That thing was so hot.
We're sweating over here, man. I'm gonna go ahead and give him a second to get back up here. Whoo! Yikes! I love it. But anyway, we're sitting here. I don't know if they have the weapons there sitting in Atlanta to get it done. At number 3, I have the Panthers at 5-12. With a rookie quarterback, you just don't know what's going to happen. Yes, he does have a decent receiving core in Thielen, Shark, and Shenault. I think they're pretty quick. Thielen's going to be their main guy. Having Sanders and Hubbard as your 2 running backs is going to be good too. It really just relies on Young, and I just don't know if he's going to be able to be that guy just yet. He's just not proven. And then I have the Bucks at 5-12. You got
them going with the same record as the Panthers.
Yeah, I think they're going 5-12. They have a first place schedule. I think that's going to make it tough for them. Winning the division last year, I think that really is going to impact it. And my biggest thing is Baker going to be the guy all year? The way that offense is set up, I really think Trask might look better sitting in that pocket. They have a good receiving core, really going to help him out. Rashad White sitting in the backfield is great, but is he going to have a great performance like he did last year? I just don't know. And then they really didn't do anything spectacular on defense. They re-signed Levante David. Great pickup. Great to see him there. I don't see them going anywhere really. Then that leads me to number 1, and that's the Saints at 9-8.
Okay.
I know that they have Derek Carr there now. I mean, he's definitely an upgrade. Absolutely. I don't know if he has enough talent to keep them going. I mean, we'll see on that. And, you don't know what their receiving core is really going to look like with him sitting there at the quarterback. We all knew what it looked like with Drew Brees, and it was great. It didn't look as great with Andy Dalton. The only thing that I will say that they have the most versatile player in the league in Taysom Hill. That dude can play any position and go out there and ball out. And I think their running backs are going to help them. I mean, they have Kamara,
I guess got Williams.
and Eno
Yeah.
Benjamin. And Eno Benjamin had a great year last year with the Cardinals. So I think that's really going to help them out. I think you're going to see, Eno and Kamara have a lot of screenplays. I think that's going to really help Carr get get rid of the ball quick. I don't see any powerhouse team in NFC South. It's just not possible. Leading off to the AFC South, Christian, what you got going on over there?
Yeah. So I mean, winning the division. I know you guys like to go backward. Yeah, you know what? Why not? I'll go backwards to start this.
Ooh, back it up.
Yikes! I don't know what to do here.
So last place in this division, sitting at 3-14. I have the Colts. Yeah, I have them sitting at 3-14. My biggest question right off the jump: who's starting week 1? Is it going to be Anthony Richardson or is it going to be Gardner Minshew?
It could be Ellinger. We don't know. That's
right. We don't know who's going to start week 1. But here's what we also do know: everything that we saw through the pre-draft process, before the pre-draft process of Anthony Richardson, leads me to tell me that's not going to be the guy. We've seen the flashes from Gardner Minshew, which lets me think that, okay, if he's going to be starting the whole way of the year, maybe we could pull this up to 5 or 6 wins. But I don't know. And same thing with Ellinger, we don't know. So I think, and there's just not a great team around him. I mean, it's a bunch of, the Panthers at least have mid players. The Colts have just nothing but the lower class type of players. I mean,
they have Taylor if he can stay healthy.
What did Taylor do last year, bro?
He wasn't healthy.
He was hurt.
So I mean, yeah, but still. But I mean, like, you go and look at the receiving core, dude. There's no perennial star receiver out there. There's nothing crazy. I mean, the O-line's not what it used to be. Quentin Nelson is looked at as a top guard in the league, but even now he's underperforming. I think that there's just so many missing pieces over there. I think they took a rookie QB way too high in the draft. I think they could have won something else. I think they could have done a lot of other moves. I think they're going to be one of the top 3 worst teams in the league. I really don't see a lot of success coming out of them this year. Moving on to the 3rd place team in the league, I have the Texans, and I only have them going 4-13. I think we're going to see a small showing out of Stroud, which will leave us with a lot more question marks around him. I think the team will compete, and they could find themselves in a situation with an extra win or 2, but they're going to finish as a bottom 6 team. I just don't still see enough pieces around the Texans yet for me to go ahead and even give them close to a winning record here. And again, we just don't know with Stroud. I'd like to give him a little more credit, but if you test 19 on the IQ test, man, I'm gonna have to stray away.
That's what you get from Ohio State players.
Wow, we're getting IQ intelligent Christians out here making fun of people's IQs. That's it's bad. So
yeah, he's on the spectrum with Christian, and you just can't be a quarterback with that spectrum.
Yeah, really, Christian eats crayons, but Stroud's eating Play-Doh. So that's where.
Yeah, at least it's fancy, right?
Yeah, right?
Let me put it to the crowd this way, guys. I played quarterback for 1 season in high school. Just so you all know, I threw for 200 yards, 1 touchdown, and 11 interceptions through 6 starts. Let it be known.
Whoo!
And I have a higher
Christian Peterman over here.
Sitting at 3rd place in the division, I have the Titans going 6-11.
Second place.
That's what I meant. Sorry, 2nd place. Titans sitting at 6-11. I think there's a lot of questions at QB. You have Tannehill. You just drafted Willis in the 3rd round last year, and then you come and pick Will Levis in the 2nd round this year. Mm-hmm. Who do you want to start? I mean, you figured Tannehill was going out the door at the end of last year because they're going to pull ahead and go with Willis. But now Tannehill's back. It's still being argued that it's his job right now. You have a 2nd round and a 3rd rounder, and that 3rd rounder from last year was argued to be a 1st rounder. So I feel like for me, there's going to be so many questions there. And on top of that, though, I think Henry's going to get traded away. I think it's time for a rebuild over there in Tennessee. I think there's so many moving pieces. You have Treylon Burks that you can start with as your number 1 wideout over there. I don't know how I feel about him. You know what I mean? Every here and there. He's no A.J. Brown. Let's get that clear. He's no A.J. Brown. But I just feel like it's a complete rebuild over there. And we're going to start to see that as we move midway through the season. And sitting at 1st place in the division, I have the Jags, and I think this division is going to be an absolute cakewalk for them.
Oh, I can't wait to hear the record.
12-5 record. I can right now tell you with the 3 losses coming, 3 of their biggest losses are going to come to the Chiefs in week 2, the Bills in week 5, and the Bengals in week 12. Those are 3 teams right there that are all the top of the powerhouses of the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe also the Jags are a powerhouse team. Now, I also have them losing 2 random games just because it is the Jaguars. Maybe we see them fall to the Texans, or maybe we see them fall to the Colts in an in-division game or something like that. But yeah, I have them finishing at 12-5. I think we see a lot of great steps from Lawrence this year. I think he goes for a breakout year with 4,000 yards and 32 touchdowns with under 10 interceptions.
He did that last year.
He didn't have 32, I don't believe.
He had, so I'm sorry, he did most of that. He had 4,000 yards passing and only 8 interceptions last year. I'm almost positive it was only 8 interceptions.
Okay,
but I mean, then he had half of that in one quarter or one half of playoff game. So you don't know, but that's not bad. So we got Christian's picks there. I think they're pretty good. So what do you have over there, David?
So I think Christian and I, we're on the same wavelength right now. I have the Colts going last place at 3-14 as well. Nice. I had them 2-4 within the division. I think if you're in a bad division like that, you'll probably end up winning some good divisional games. Just unfortunately, the AFC South got the AFC North this year, so that's some games they're definitely not going to win.
Yeah.
Like Christian said, I agree. Quarterback's going to be the question. Will Richardson start right away? Minshew and Ellinger are backups, and who they going to start out of those 3? We don't know. They have an okay line when healthy. Taylor, if healthy, is a good running back. They signed Isaiah McKenzie, but I don't think he's a 1. That's the thing. He's not a 1.
No.
And so who's going to be your 1? You have Pittman and you have McKenzie. Both aren't 1s. So, I mean, Mo Alley Cox is a quality tight end, but he's no game changer.
Yeah, no.
And I think their defense doesn't look that great either. I think they have Buckner. That's the only person. And
Darius Leonard.
Well, he goes by Shaquille now.
But he's hurt.
But yeah, it is. Well, Richardson be a bust with they have a new head coach. They got Steichen. We know Steichen pretty well. He took Jalen Hurts under his wing, and they ran a pretty good offense with him. However, as we've seen, Jalen Hurts made that jump with his arm talent within the past year. Richardson, we can see his arm talent's not there. How much of a jump?
He can hit the ceiling, dude.
Oh yeah, that he has a high ceiling, only to hit footballs with.
Yeah, that too. And Hurts' last year of college, he was the highest completion percentage.
Yeah, well, I'm saying he Hurts could somewhat throw the ball. I went to FSU. I saw the UF game last year. You threw for like 50%. It was awful. If he
heartbreaking season for us,
yeah. And so it's the Colts. Unfortunately, I just don't think they're there yet, and I just really don't have the capital in the next couple of years to be there. So it's gonna be very interesting what kind of rebuild they do.
Yeah.
At 3rd place, I had the Texans going with a record 4-13. I agreed with you there, Christian. I think the team is just so young. Even their back quarterback now Mills is super young. This is only his 2nd or 3rd year coming in. They drafted Stroud, and then who apparently is going to be the future of the team, but it's the Texans, so we don't even know. They didn't draft wide receiver in a really deep wide receiver class, which I was kind of surprised about. But they did go up a lot of spots to get Will Anderson, who is a stud pass rusher. So they were trying to sit there and get their defense. They have an interesting receiving core to me. Here are the numbers. Besides Robert Woods and Noah, they have Robert Woods and Noah Brown. And they also have John Mechie, who, if you guys don't remember John Mechie was out last year because he had leukemia. Now, he was a stud wide receiver over there at Alabama. So this kind of is his rookie season. So it's interesting to see. With that, there are 7 receivers on the roster who are 25 years old or younger. So it's going to be very interesting. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see who they end up keeping. They have Damian Pierce, who had an amazing season last year.
UF.
And even they have a good veteran backup where they have Devin Singletary right behind him. So it's not too bad of a team. They went out and they signed Dalton Schultz as a tight end. Now, if he's a game-changing tight end, he was pretty okay in Dallas. But the interesting thing is, will Mills start the season? Will they let Mills start the season to get Stroud used to the system more? I'm also very interested in see how D'Amico Ryans does in his first year as head coach. As Eagles fans, we love D'Amico. D'Amico is a pretty solid linebacker for us for years.
Yes.
Got his autograph.
I think my favorite part of the season, you're gonna have to take a look. Cleveland plays Houston this year in Houston. I think there'll be a nice big old Texas warm welcome from Deshaun Watson when he
A lot of
walks into the
massages.
stadium.
A lot of
A
massages.
lot of
Oh
massages.
yeah.
Second place, I have the Tennessee Titans, who I have going 5-12 this year. I
Okay.
say they go 2-4 in the division. Like with the entire division, the QB is the big question. They have Tannehill, who's I thought would be gone last year.
Right.
They have Malik Willis, who for some reason looks like they've given up on him, and they went out and drafted Will Levis, who fell. I mean, I feel like for where they got Will Levis is a pretty good pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Will Levis should have been a third-round QB at best off the jump. I don't believe he should have ever had the pre-hype around him to be a first-round quarterback.
We have anti-mayonnaise fans here. I think they have a really great running game with Henry, and also I like Hassan Haskins. I think he's a really good running back. That's coming from an Ohio State fan who's thinking that. So,
He went to Michigan, right?
yeah, he went to Michigan. Wide receiver is very lacking. Like Traylon Burks is your best option, and I mean, obviously they got rid of AJ Brown last year. Thank God they did. I love it, loving every single week of it. And they signed was it Skoronski was the lineman that they drafted. I hope he's a stud whenever he gets healthy. But again, like when people come off of injuries in their rookie year, it's gonna be hit or miss there.
Right.
But other than that, I think they went out and they signed Andre Dillard too.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah,
they ended up signing him, so it's not a bad signing at all. Defensive wise, they're pretty shoddy. I think they only have Byard and then Jeffrey Simmons. Other than that, they're kind of lacking back there. But with
real quick, I think Byard will be out as well with Henry before.
you think so? I mean, I think at this point, I agree with you. They're probably
Rebuild.
gonna go with the full rebuild at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think they had a really flat. They had Tannehill for there. They had Henry, who was the best running back for a bit. They had AJ Brown, who was obviously a top 5, top 10 wide receiver at the time he was there. I just think they kind of missed their window of opportunity there.
Yeah,
And
2-3 years ago was their window. It's gone now. The opportunity's gone.
yeah, I think the vision is bad. I think Jacksonville runs it. I think right now Vrabel's in the hot seat. I think he's gone middle of the season, after the season this year. I just don't think with the team they have, unless they trust him to go through with the rebuild, I just don't think they can. You might as well move on if you're going to go with a new project there.
I think Tennessee really likes Vrabel. I think that's the one piece they'll keep. But I'm not completely disagreeing with you there.
And then first place, I think Jacksonville runs that division. I think I have them going 11-6. I have them going 5-1 in the division with one random loss to Houston. One random loss to Houston along
Makes
the way.
sense.
I think Duval is going to run that division for a while now.
Duval.
Unless somehow Houston makes a jump, or somehow Anthony Richardson comes out and becomes an absolute stud, which I don't see coming. With Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence at the helm in this completely weak division, I don't think there's any way that they go less than first. I think Etienne's a baller. I even like Dearness Johnston as a backup running back. And you look at their wide receiver core right now, they have Agnew, they have Christian Kirk, they have Zay Jones, and then now they get Calvin Ridley to start the season.
Yep.
That's a really good receiver core. They have Evan Ingram. He had a great season last year. He actually got to stay healthy this year, got to prove how good he is. Biasly, Luke Farrell is a pretty good solid tight end too, went to Ohio State. It just really depends that O-line is going to need to protect him. And the defense is going to need to step it up.
Yeah.
Like the defense, they were 12th in scoring. That's commendable. However, they were 24th in total yards last year.
Yeah.
So that's where that it used to be the reverse. Jacksonville had the very young, great defensive core whenever they went to that AFC Championship game. However, now they have a really young wide receiving core and a little young offensive core, and need to get that defense up.
I think that Shaq Khan, I think he likes to get rid of players to try to get the most out of what he has. And I think that is
mogul.
The issue with him. I think the Jags are going to run that division, but I'll start off my picks. We're kind of equal. The only thing is the last 3 spots are really a toss up. It was hard for me to decide. I know you guys didn't have it. I actually had the Colts at 5-12. I think they're gonna get some crazy wins, just surprising wins. Like you said, you have Steichen there. He got AR-15. That fits the way he likes to run an offense. But then again, you don't know if Minshew knows the offense, so I think he might actually get the start there just to kind of show the ropes. The only issue I have, just like you do, is the receiving core. I don't know if they have the pieces to be just the team that's going to be able to beat you throwing the ball. Now, I mean, Jonathan Taylor is an absolute stud. Yes, he was hurt all last year. We've seen what he can do. And running with Anthony Richardson, I think, those two together are going to be an issue. I think you're going to see more of a college, offense with them, just at least for the first year. But that being said, I have Texans at 6-11. I think they're going to get I saw their defense last year in a couple of games. They kept them close. I just think that, they really went out there and tried to build that Texans defense again. They used to make that defense one of probably a top 15 defense. They were never great on offense. And in my opinion, they never had anything there. The biggest problem I have is sitting at wide receiver, like you said. I mean, Woods is their number one guy. And then looking at their depth chart, they have Nico Collins at number 2. And like you said, they have Mechie at number 3. I don't see that. And then they're going to be relying heavy on Schultz. And I just don't know what it's going to look like. CJ Stroud, it's a question because he's a rookie quarterback, and that's the thing. I mean, you could potentially have 3 rookie quarterbacks starting in this division, and that it could go either way. But then I have the Titans sitting at 7-10, and the only reason I have them at 7-10 is they are a game management team. They get ahead on a team, they're going to try to run out the clock, and they have Henry to be able to do that. Like you said, if they keep Henry, that's the biggest question. They might use him and try to rebuild, but this is with him sitting there. Does Tannehill start all year? I don't know if he does. I think Levis ends up taking over the position. And really, their best wide receivers, Burks. And I just don't know enough about Burks to trust if he can actually be that guy.
I wouldn't say great. He's a really good receiver. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But he's just not a 1.
That's the thing.
If he is the 1, but he's not a 1, that's the big issue.
Right.
And that's where I'm sitting there. And then obviously we're all on the same page with the best team. It's gonna be the Jags, 11-6. I'm with David. I think Texans are gonna steal one from them. I just think it's gonna happen. It's a divisional game. They're gonna probably lose 1, maybe 2 to a divisional rival. Their receiving core looks really good. They have Etienne back in the backfield. I mean, he's a stud. If Trevor Lawrence can replicate what he did last year, staying under 10 interceptions for the regular season, I think they're going to have a really good year. They might even be better than 11-6. I know they have at least 3 losses on their schedule. I just don't know if they match up against those 3 powerhouse offenses, and they have a good defense. So, that's where I stand on that. We're all in agreement with the Jags, but moving on, we'll go ahead.
Real quick. Do you have their 3 losses that you're predicting coming to the Chiefs, Bengals, and Bills as well?
Yeah, those are the 3 main losses. There's a couple in there. I think I might have them losing to the Browns.
Really?
I think
that was one I looked at. I looked at hard and debated over hard, but I don't think they that one.
And I'm also with David with the Texans. Having that home game against the Browns. Is it going to be a happy ending? We don't know.
Oh, God.
We don't know what's going to happen in that, but time will tell.
So actually, I'm going to butt in real quick. So my losses to Jaguars, if we're talking losses, I actually have them beating Cincinnati. I have one of their losses to the Niners. I also have them losing a game to the Ravens. Kansas City, I feel like was a given, but also I had them losing to the Panthers as well. So I had to keep it.
No, I mean, you don't know. I think the Panthers could go out there and ball.
But yeah, we all know that the Jets are going to win that division. So
I think, David, I know you said that you have the one that they might win being the Bengals. I think if we see them take any of the 3 against the 3 powerhouses, I think it's going to be the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
They played the Chiefs very well last year and were a turnover away from beating the Chiefs in that playoff game.
I think it's the Bills. They play very well against the Bills.
They just play at Buffalo.
So we all are in different agreements here about who they think the powerhouse team is that they'll beat.
Yeah, no, I agree. But we'll move on. What are we sitting at with the NBA playoffs?
Oh, I
Can I
don't.
start? Can I go on a quick
Yeah.
rant? Can I go on a quick
Go on a
rant?
rant.
Oh
Go on
my
a rant.
gosh, dude, I'm so over the 76ers. I mean, let me go, bro. I'm a diehard Sixers fan, boys. You can see the Maxey jersey right there. It's my baby. We suck. Doc Rivers needs to kick rocks to the door now. I'm so over
Out.
it.
Kick
You've
rocks to the
lost
door.
11 straight game sevens.
Kick it to the curb, maybe.
MVP,
Kick
he can
rocks to
kick
the
rock.
door.
He can kick
I
rock.
do agree. I think Doc needs to go. You can't look that bad. Literally put up 10 points in the third quarter of the game seven. You're gonna lose.
On top of that, too, they had the biggest opportunity in the world to close out game 6, and there wasn't even a need for game 7.
Yeah.
And they just completely failed.
No, yeah, I get it. So we'll touch that subject. We'll go to the NBA playoffs right now.
Yeah, I guess we'll start with the Celtics 76ers, how that ended. It wasn't close. Yeah, Embiid, Harden, Maxey just all laid down and let Daddy Tatum just come in and cook 50 burgers on them.
Yeah.
Like it's funny because the most points ever scored in a game 7 was Stephen Curry 2 weeks ago until Jason Tatum decided to put up 51 on us the other day.
Yeah.
I don't like what Embiid said after the game. Embiid said, "Oh, we need another player because it's 5-on-5 out there." Now, you're the guy, you're the MVP. So like you putting up 16 points. Now, I can see if he's trying to say like, "Oh, like if I'm because I can't have a good night every night. If I'm having an off night, somebody needs to be able to come and pick me up." I understand that. That makes more sense, but
Yeah.
just like after losing like that, like and I think he said in 2018, it's not a rivalry. They can always kick our ass. And that's how it always feels when we play the Celtics.
Really does. Yeah.
It's frustrating. Doc needs to go. 10 game sevens in his career that he's lost. Absolutely awful. I would love for them to hire Nick Nurse. I also wouldn't mind hiring the old Celtics coach.
Oh, Celtics coach.
Yeah, the old Celtics coach.
From Butler.
I wouldn't. No, not Hayward. The guy who got in trouble for like having a sexual affair with his.
Oh, that's okay. Take risks. That's what we do down in Philly. We take risks.
Yeah, brotherly love. So moving forward, you got to hope that Harden re-signs with the team. And you got to maybe look out with a free agent this offseason.
Harden's on his way to Houston like it's nothing.
I've heard that, and like I think you can. We need some spot up shooting. I think if we can somehow get Seth Curry, or maybe take a chance on this is not going to happen, but
it is. Yes, it is. Speak it.
Damian Lillard.
Yes,
but also,
speak it into existence.
We're all sitting there thinking that.
But if not Dame Lillard, Klay Thompson's going to be on the last year of his contract coming up in 2024. So if we can some way get a way to sign and restructure, I wouldn't mind that. Now, obviously, he was cold in the last couple of games with the Warriors, but I think it's a little bit easier to spread out the floor when you have a person like Embiid, who's a low post guy, to be able to go
up shooter
out.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's what Philly's been missing the entire season. We've all known that. They don't have a guy who we just know
Philly's been missing that since Redick.
Yeah.
Philly's been missing that since Redick. Since I got rid of Seth Curry last year.
Seth Curry was the other guy who got him off.
But we'll see what happens. What do you have predictions for the next 2 games with the Celtics Heat and then the Lakers Nuggets?
So yeah, you go. Oh, okay. Yeah. So Nuggets Lakers is just a very interesting series. In my head, I feel like the Nuggets should be able to take care of business. I think it's going to be an interesting matchup between Jokic and AD down there. You have two separate types of big men. You have your big man who's not that physical, but can work his way down the post and can shoot threes. But you have Jokic, who's a facilitator big man, who's a little bit bigger of a body, who can probably put some more weight on AD so he doesn't get those easy post shots. So I think it's going to come down to your guard play over there. And, you have LeBron and you have Murray, who aren't guards, they're more forwards, but those are going to be the guys who get the ball more. Yeah. And so it's going to be very interesting. Like LeBron can't carry the load by himself. So you're going to have to see guys like Austin Reeves, who may have to come in, put up some numbers. And then for the Nuggets, like they have like Porter Jr. maybe, but it's just going to be really hard. They have Murray.
They don't really have the guard play there. I'm going to piggyback off on you. I think the Lakers are definitely, they're looking better as a complete team. I mean, the last 3 games that Austin Reeves played, right? He went 23, 15, and 21. if you can get that performance out of him, you're gonna look at a series that you're not gonna be able to cover him. Yet if they do, you have AD sitting down there, and then you have LeBron James. We all know LeBron James. He's a facilitator. He can do his thing. Um, I think the Lakers might take that one. Leading off with the Celtics, the biggest issue with the Heat is I don't know if you have enough players to be able to cover them. Yeah, they don't really have like a big, but yet you have Brown that has been playing phenomenal in the playoffs. He literally, his worst game was 17 against the Sixers. He was getting 23, 25, 23, 20, like just having a great playoff series. And then Jason Tatum, I just, holding him to less than 20 that's a good matchup. I don't know if is Butler going to cover him the whole time. Butler plays great defense. I don't think they match up correctly over there. I want to hear what you guys have to say on that.
Yeah, so I think so. Yeah, so for the Heat, I think it's going to be a real interesting and real tough series. I think you'll probably see the Celtics jump out to a 2-0 lead, but I think when it comes right back to Miami, I think Butler's going to ball. I think even still in Boston, Butler's going to ball because that's just Jimmy Butler. That's just the guy we've always known. But I feel like I could see both these series coming down to a game 7. I don't think Heat aren't going to be willing to just fall over and die, even as the 8th seed. It's just not going to happen. Butler's going to take control of that team and tell them, like, yo, listen, like, something's got to happen here. But at the end of the day, I think the firepower between Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown is just going to be too much for the Heat and Butler to handle. I mean, those are two guys that, I mean, you can argue they're top 10 players in the league. You know what I mean? Like, those are two guys on the same roster. And then on top of that, you have Marcus Smart, who's one of the best defensive players in the league.
Yeah, he's gonna be covering Butler the entire time.
Right.
I mean, they might run. I mean, I know they're gonna run man, but they might end up doing a box and one and just making them go out there and try to ball out at the perimeter. I just don't. Right. I don't know if that happens. David, what do you think?
Yeah, and so I don't have the series that close. I have a 4-1 Celtics series. Yep. And it's so hard because Jimmy Butler can't do it himself. Now against a team like the young Knicks, yeah, he could have done that himself. That's fine. Yeah. But I mean, with Tyler Hero out the complete the complete postseason now, the matchup really comes down to like who's guarding Jaylen Brown. You're gonna put Lowry on him. Then you have their post matchup is gonna be Bam versus Horford. And now Horford is pretty good defensively when it comes to people like that. He's given Embiid problems his whole career, and Bam is just not the same player that we're used to seeing, And who you gonna rely on now? You're gonna get Kevin Love out there to start hitting threes. Is he gonna be like Mike Miller with the Heat up in like 2012, 2013? So I just feel like they're just completely outmatched. Now I think like with Allen Iverson 2001, the Heat may get one cheap one. But I just think they're completely outmatched, and I think the Celtics are going to end up going to the finals.
I agree. I think they are going to get at least one game out there. I don't think the series is going to be close. We've all been on the same page. I really think the finals in the East should have been the Celtics Sixers. I think that was a great matchup going in there, and then that's where I really think they should start thinking about reseeding. Really, you're getting the best teams going in. Obviously, you don't know in the playoffs. Some team could beat another team. I just think that's the way you reseed it. But leading off, David, hold on.
I never covered the West for myself real quick. I want to
Christian never said anything about the Lakers series.
I think that series goes in 7, and I think it goes to the Nuggets. I think neither team will lose at home, but Nuggets get 4 games at home if it goes to a game 7. And I think that's going to be it. I mean, dude, Nuggets have not lost at home in this playoffs game yet, in the playoff series.
The only thing is for some reason, Jokic just doesn't perform against the Lakers. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the Lakers are a little quicker. Jokic, he plays phenomenal in his set plays, but I just think they're going to go out there and it's going to be a running gun game. And I think that's the reason why the Lakers are probably going to take that. I mean, it could go either way. He could hold his own. He's probably going to average a triple-double like he always does. I I don't know if that's enough. But yeah, we'll go ahead and go on to the NHL playoffs.
Actually, I have
with that
real quick. I want you guys to tell me what you guys think about the John Morant news.
Okay, dude, I'll weigh in real heavy on this. I can't believe how stupid you have to be to do what you did. I mean, listen, if there's a camera on you and you don't know it and you got caught doing something because someone else is trying to catch you up, all right, even still, it's not that cool because you should know as a superstar, you're going to have the cameras on you. But still, you know what I mean? I get it. You thought you were in the comfort zone of whatever, you know, someone got it. It's not what happened. You're on Instagram Live. You know the person right next to you is on Instagram Live. You know that everybody, you're John Morant. So everybody is going to join that live because you're John Morant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
no, I agree with you. I think he shot himself in his own foot. I really think he shot himself in his own foot. He's going to be facing, you know, a lot of people are calling for a full year suspension. I don't agree with that. I'm kind of with Stephen A. Smith on this. He said it kind of perfectly. You know, you give him a 20-game suspension. You don't fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you. You go out there and you have to punish him. It's so dumb. You know the rules. You shouldn't do it. You know, David, what do you have to say on that?
Yeah, no, exactly. Now, I'm all about, you know, without getting political, Second Amendment rights, you know, that's his right to carry one. However, when you work for any organization, even the job I work at, if I was on a video flashing a gun on Instagram Live, I'm going to get repercussions for that.
Yep.
And if I sat there and I went through a program and I was releasing press BS saying, oh, no, I'm changed now, I have so much to lose, I should never do this, and then I go around and do it about a month or two later, yeah, I've of course I would expect for more repercussions. I think John Morant needs to figure it out quick.
Yeah.
I think with that draft, you have John Morant and Zion at 1 and 2. Both of those are wasting careers in two separate ways. Now you're in the starting to think, was RJ Barrett, was he the best decision in that draft now? But it's a shame because those two guys, you know, those were the future of the leagues. Yep. And now they have their own separate decisions to make. Do I get my body better? Do I get my mind better? And that's something they're going to have to think about because, I mean, you have two generational talents that are just going to waste away because of stupid decisions they're making. So it's a shame. And I'm all about the Second Amendment, but when your job tells you to do something and then you tell, okay, my bad, I won't do it, and then do it right back again, exactly. You didn't learn anything.
No. That was my biggest thing is that had he maybe not have come out and said like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I'm going to change, I'm going to enter myself into this facility. Bro, I mean, you can't, because now you're a liar.
Again, it just seems like it's a bunch of press BS. So you're just doing it to make up for the facts. Like you're not sorry that you did it. You're sorry that you got caught.
Exactly.
You're sorry you got caught.
And I really think that they're gonna do away with him.
You think Memphis does away with him?
I think, he's
the team.
I know he's the team, but they could get a lot from him. And I think they're at this point. They're like, well, we can make it to the playoffs with him. Let's rebuild and make a better team because I think they can get a lot from him. You know,
I'll say actually, if you go and look at it, Grizzlies' record or not.
Yeah, they do play really good
without Ja. The record's better without Ja. So
you know why not? Well, that leads us into our next playoff picture. David, let's hit it with the NHL.
Here we go. All right, boys, so you know what time it is. We're doing NHL players, our 3-minute minors. The three dudes don't watch hockey that much, but enjoy the sight of it at some point.
I watched the Oilers game last night. There you go.
I love Connor McDavid. He should probably leave to another team that's actually good. So the first one we're going to do Panthers versus Maple Leafs. Florida's ended up winning that 4-1. Panthers won the last game in OT, meaning again another 1-goal game. All games but games 1 were decided by 1 goal, but game 1 was decided by 2. They were both great games. It was a great matchup, even if the Maples got gentlemen swept. We have Golden Knights who ended up beating the Oilers 4-2. The offense was too much for the Oilers. Oilers scored a good amount, but without defense, they were just doomed.
Hey, shout out my man's what's his name? He scored a 3 hat trick last night, or a 3-goal hat trick last night.
All hat tricks are 3 goals. Vegas Knights have to be one of the best expansion teams in recent memory just to be a dominant after joining the league. I just feel like they've been really well in the past several years they've been here. This gives us to the series right now, Kraken versus Stars. series tied. Kraken tied the series with a 6-3 victory. Again, just proving that they do not know how to play defense in this series. I love the Kraken, though, and I feel like even though they're not on home ice, I have them winning Game 7.
I've told you from day one, Kraken winning it. Boom.
Kraken are cracked. So then that leads us to, let's do a little bit of a preview. The Eastern Conference Finals is going to be Hurricanes versus the Panthers. The Panthers just closed their series again, winning 4-1, and again, all close games with phenomenal defense, while Carolina just absolutely blasted the Devils in each game, other than
Nick, that sucks.
This will be interesting to see because it's basically defense versus offense, but I think the Hurricanes' firepower is going to be a little bit too much for Florida. I have them winning in 6.
I'm going to go ahead and say there's going to be a Cat 5 hurricane hitting Florida.
Ooh.
Hurricane taking that series.
Ooh. Christian, got any hockey stuff for me? You recently watched hockey?
Yeah, I'm going to say I watched that. Hey, guys.
He's a certified baller in that hockey, man.
I watched... actually, and I know we're about to come up with that segment. I almost did have Jonathan
Exactly.
Marchessault. Yeah, Jonathan Marchessault.
He's watched hockey one time. He knows everybody now.
No, I don't know everybody, but I Googled up how to pronounce his name.
Ooh.
Congrats. All right, so this leads us to our new segment, Certified Baller, where Christian goes ahead and picks who he thinks had an outstanding performance in the past week. Christian, I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Let's hear it, man.
Let me go ahead and try to stomach what I'm about to say before I come and say it.
Ooh, I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, in your ass.
Okay. I think I got it now. Our certified baller of the week is none other than Jason Tatum.
Ooh.
Oh, my God.
Yikes.
But
That was rough.
yeah, that was rough. But at the end of the day, I mean, bro went and averaged 29 points per game in the Eastern Conference Finals. He recorded 51 points in Game 7, and that's a record in most points in a Game 7. Even after a freezing cold 3 quarters in Game 6, he comes out and he goes on a 4-for-4 3-point run and puts the Celtics on his back to win Game 6 in Philly. There's no question anymore about who's worth more between Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And I feel like recently that's been an argument I've been hearing on like First Take and all these other things in the mornings. There's not a question. Jason Tatum is the future of that franchise. Jason Tatum is a absolute certified baller. He's just, dude, I mean, you can't make that up. And I think Tatum's going to continue to propel his team all the way to a finals appearance, barring, and I'm not counting this out because that's why I say barring a Cinderella story from Mr. Jimmy Buckets himself. And I believe
Cinderella story.
It's
I
James
believe he
Butler.
would do it. But Jason Tatum for the week has to be our certified baller because nobody came and showed out like he did.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just
There's absolutely no question. I mean, if like you talk about the series, let's just go by the week since we do it for weekly. The last 4 games of the series, he averaged 32.5 points, 12.5 rebounds, and 5.5 assists per game. And that's even he gets 32 after getting 19 points in Game 6 after having like 6 through like the first 3.5 quarters.
No,
So,
dude was held out. Bro, by halftime, dude was 0 for 9 shooting with no points.
he had 1 point, like 1 free throw.
Yeah.
1 point.
And
so
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then comes out, and then dude, with 2.5 minutes remaining in the game, you go on a 4-for-4 3-point run, just gathering up the buckets in the most clutch time of the game, and you can't argue that.
No, I don't disagree. He had a great performance. Leading on top of the certified baller, we got our deflated baller.
Yeah. So it took me a minute to decide who I really wanted to pick as the deflated baller, but as you guys might have known from last week, or kind of maybe caught the vibe of, I happen to be a sports bettor from, I don't know if you caught that vibe from Christian's Payday Parlay. I happen to be a sports bettor. Now, for me personally, I went and betted a lot on Golden State. Yeah, I put a lot of bets in on Golden State. But here's what I will say. Even without the bets, whether or not wins or losses there, my deflated baller of the week, dude, it has to be Jordan Poole. I mean, when you go and just check the stats out from this guy, you got to understand. Dude averaged 10 points per game in the playoffs. While last year, when the Warriors won the championship, I should add, by the way, he was averaging 17 points per game. He was a 34% field goal shooter in the playoffs this year, compared to a 50.8 last year in the playoffs in their title run. Alongside not a humongous drop, but a good drop in three-point shooting, he came down to 25.4 this year in the playoffs on three-point. Last year, 39.1 in his three-point shooting. The kid was also shooting 43% field goal on the regular season, and was averaging a 33.6% three-point in the regular season to follow that with a 20.4 points per game in this regular season. He cut all of his stats down by half. And when in a time where great players shine and should be able to increase their stats, he just completely came out and shit the bed. And that's the one thing that we could argue. If Poole comes out and has the season that he had last year, or even just the season he had during the regular season, I think, to me, that's the difference maker. That's the biggest difference maker in Golden State winning or losing those games. Because you have a guy who was going and averaging 20.4 a game during the regular season, just to come back and cut it down by half in the playoffs and completely underperform. And again, we're in NBA playoff season right now. So yeah, there might be an even crappier player in the MLB right now, but we're in the playoffs. This is very big. There's a lot of pressure on you. You're Jordan Poole. You are considered to be one of the next Splash Brothers over there in Golden State, and you just crapped the bed.
And I'm gonna follow you up on that. I'm gonna stay in the same sport there. Talk about someone that just decided to take a huge dip and splash in the pool. Mine isn't a player. Mine is Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That guy, absolutely. I mean, yes, they looked great. Yes, he took their team and made them a better team each year, but when you cannot close out games as a coach, that is on you. You can sit here, I know everyone
0-10?
Everyone can sit here and say that it's on the players to perform. Yes, absolutely. The players should perform, but where they get their performance and their edge, they get it from the coach. And that's where I lead to say, you get rid of Doc Rivers. I don't think he should be coaching any good team. I think with a decent coach going into that, I think they win. They don't give up that lead in Game 6. That is why he is my deflated baller.
Yeah, I can 100% understand and respect that. I think for me, the whole reason I had Poole is because I think, as a Philly fan, bro, I've never expected much out of Doc. And as a basketball fan in general, like I said, Jordan Poole was set up to be the next Splash Brother. I mean, this was something that they thought they had grabbed. Like,
yeah, I'm not arguing your segment. I mean, I couldn't go with a player here. I had to go with the coach. I want to hear who David has to choose from this.
Just to say, I don't disagree with you, Nick. Doc shit the bed. Doc shit.
Yeah, I think like those are all good options. I'm gonna say with Christian, I mean, you can pick any one of those from that Golden State Warriors roster. Stephen Curry had to carry that team himself.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson, you're supposed to be the two guy. You're supposed to be the guy putting up those stats with Curry, so Curry doesn't have to do all the load.
Right.
The last 3 games, Thompson had, I think, 9, 10, and 8. Those are his 3 games. Like, Klay Thompson, like, where's Game 6 Klay? That was like a big...
Yeah.
But, like, he just did. It wasn't him, and he's like slowly like declining. I can't tell if it's not that he's not fully there from the injury. I can't tell if it's just like more of a confidence thing that the offense wasn't running through him as much as he wanted to.
Because anything isn't possible.
Yeah, I think Klay Thompson's gonna be mine. Jordan Poole, a good one. Again, like I said, anybody but Stephen Curry on that Warriors team, I can put up there.
Exactly.
But I mean, Doc Rivers is a good one too. And then, I mean, if you can't win a Game 7,
no, absolutely not. So that's going to lead us. I told David last week. I absolutely told him that I would hold him to the bet that he had against the A's on that Sunday with their attendance. He said over under 3,000. Right? He said it was going to be under 3,000. I want to hold it to him. There was actually 7,793 fans there. They doubled it. So I told him I was going to hold them to it. And David, go ahead and say what you have to do right now.
So first off, let's I want to put in record here that Thursday game they only had like 2,800 in attendance. That's so I was very, very confident in myself there. I mean, they had 7,000, but that only fills about 17% of their stadium, which is not good. But I guess I should have bet against that. I thought they're gonna go to like 8%. So because I have work in the morning, they wanted me to do actual shots. I said no, so I decided why not just mess up my bowels instead. So instead, I got it's Carolina Reaper hot sauce, and I'm gonna try to take a shot of this. Now I haven't even tested it yet, so I'm not sure if a shot could be too much for me. I don't even know at this point.
I really hope you have milk prepared.
I don't, but I don't have milk in the house.
Dude, I hate to break it to you,
here's the thing. I really think this is going to lead us into our next segment on our hot takes.
This is a really good.
So we're gonna let David go ahead and take his shot. David, go ahead and fill that shot glass up. You shouldn't have tasted it. Go ahead and fill that shot glass.
I had to taste to see what I was getting into, dude. That's straight heat.
So we're gonna let David go last. While we're sitting here, let him pour the shot. Christian, who or what is your hot take?
Oh, man, so mine's a little bit of a drawn out time frame here. Almost kind of like yours was, Nick, in the very first episode. But my hot take of the week is give it a week and a half, and I think we see the Phillies in first place in the NL East. Now, before I did my research on this, I would not have said that because I thought, Phillies are sitting at 20-20 right now before today's game. They're sitting at 20-20 right now before today's game. They're sitting at a 500 record. They're only 5 games behind the Braves.
No.
And they're in second place in the division. Now, we haven't played the Braves yet this year. I don't believe we play them within this next 2 weeks time frame. But, dude, I mean, the Phillies are hot, right? Bryce Harper's back. The team has a freaking heartbeat again. David, how are you feeling over there, boy?
Oh, he's
that made it worse.
I'm gonna piggyback off of you. It's gonna be a little longer on my hot take. Starting off the series over there on the Western Conference, I think the Lakers are going to go up 2-1. I think they're going to steal one in Denver. Leading to, I think the Lakers take that. We really don't know. But I'm going to enjoy hearing David's hot take on this.
So, dude, my mouth is like heat. My throat hurts. I had Brooklyn go give me a shot of ranch dressing.
That's a good call.
My head hurts too. My hot take is that the Diamondbacks will not lose a game this entire week. I wanted to say that by the end of the week they'd be in first place in the West. My mouth is salivating so much right now, but they have a 3-game cushion, so that's been a little bit too much for me. They play a 3-game series against the Athletics to start the week, and they finish it with a 3-game series against the Pirates. The Athletic, dude, my nose is dripping. The Athletics should be an easy team, but the Pirates have been good this year. We talked about how they're a surprise team. However, this May they are 2-10. They got swept in back-to-back series versus the Rays and the Jays, and they just lost the back-to-back 3-game series against. Oh, thank you. Oh, I'll eat that yogurt. You can take that ranch if you want to. Thanks, Brooklyn. I love you. And they got lost back-to-back series against the Rockies and Orioles. I don't have that high hopes on the Pirates. I think Diamondbacks are a pretty good team, and I think they're not going to lose the game for the rest of the week.
That's a good take there. I can't wait to see that. I think all of us kind of have. I think we all pretty much have some good hot takes. David's being the best because that was very spicy for him going in there. That's gonna lead us to our last little thing we have going on.
Hold up, real quick, David. Scale of 1 to 10. Tell me how hot that is, boss.
Dude, it just felt like it was a straight heat. Like because like it was like kind of like wasabi, where it's not really spicy. You just feel like it's heat. That's
Yeah.
what it felt like. And then Brooklyn gave me her Gatorade or non-disclosed sports drink, and I took a sip of it, and it just spread it all in my mouth.
And
It hurt so bad.
that's gonna lead to another subject or segment that we have every Friday, where each of us take a chance and we throw a bet out there. What's gonna happen? And if we lose, it's gonna be a punishment coming in as our hot take. We have to do something during that. I can't wait to see what Christian has to do on his. If he wins, great. I mean, he does have the Christian payday parlay. He did terrible on this last one.
2 for 4.
But 50% still, you're not winning money off of that.
You're not winning money at 75%. No.
Yeah, exactly.
You
So,
100% to win the parlay, but
leading us to our last one, I went out there and did my MLB rankings, based off of what we're seeing in the past couple of weeks.
I will say
I'm going to start it.
Me and David came a little underprepared for the segment.
No, that's fine. I'm going to start it off with number 5 and work my way down. So number 5 right now.
Work your way up.
I have the Blue Jays. They really have been coming off hot. Their batting average right now is 259. That's 8th best. Their ERA is 393. That's 12th best. Now their runs are at 192, and that's 10th best. And I think they're really starting to come around on their offense. Their pitching needs to do a little better, get them, secured more in games. But that's my number 5. I got number 4 at the Dodgers. They're starting to get really hot. They're number 4 in RBIs. They're at 214, which is unreal. And that's just RBIs. That has nothing to do with anything else. Their pitching is okay, but their scoring is really unreal to me. Then the surprising team of all is the Rangers. So the Rangers at number 3, they are number 5 in batting average. It's uncanny. They're sitting there at number 6 in ERA at 361, and they have 245 RBIs. I just told you what the Dodgers RBIs are. That is way surpassed theirs. At number 2, hurts to say it, but I have the Braves at number 2. Their ERA is sitting at 3.53. It is number 5 sitting there in pitching. They're batting at 256. They're doing what they have to do. And then number 1 is the Rays. And they're just killing it. I mean, their batting average is 275. And they're number 1 in that, and they're number 1 in ERA at 3.26. So they're
hold on real quick, just 1 second. I'm gonna miss this. You said 1's the Rays, correct?
The Rays, the Rays are number 1, and it's not even close, for the simple fact their batting average is number 1 and their ERA is 3.26. I mean, they're number 1 in both those categories. That's just really hard to beat. I will say, and I'm going to piggyback off of what Christian said earlier, my notable mention is going to be the Phillies. They're really starting to come together. Their batting average is 263. They're 6th going into the league. Runs 173. They're tied for 10th on that. Their pitching ERA is 4.66, which is not good. They're 23rd. But I will have to put in perspective, Ranger Suarez is finally back. I think they're going to really get their pitching back together. I think he's a stud sitting in that position. I don't know what you guys have going on. If you guys disagree with that, I would love to hear.
Nah, so for me, I'll piggyback with you on the number 1 spot. I love the Rays at the 1 spot. I mean, dude, 11 losses so far through the season compared to 31 wins. Who can you put over that? No matter what, right? No matter who has a roster built around them so far, to be 42 games into the season and you have 11 losses, you can't beat that. But then, again, with the Phillies at that honorable mention spot, I would probably agree with you all the way, Nick, through your 1 to 5 spots. And then I guess it could be considered biased to have the Phillies at the honorable mention spot. But, David's got a different opinion. But ever since the addition of Bryce Harper coming back, the Phillies have just been a completely different ball team.
Yep.
And I think that's basically because Harper, for as long as we can remember now, for the past 3-4 years now, he's been the heartbeat of that team, the heart and soul. The whole reason we were elevated to the World Series last year. I mean, there's just a different level of presence brought back to the field by Harper, and I think that's humongous for the Phillies, and I think it's what's needed.
You know, I will say Harper is phenomenal. I've said it from day one. He's like Pete Rose. If he's not on your team, you don't like him. When he's on your team, it's phenomenal. Like it's great.
I want a Machado over him. But
you know, I didn't. I mean, I said it from day one when he was ready to leave from the Nationals. I was like, I hated him, but I would love to see him in a Phillies uniform. I will say that guy can throw punches. He'll get himself ejected. Anything he has to do for his team, he is a gamer. So, David, what do you have going on that?
I just disagree. So I'll disagree with the Braves. I don't think I put the Braves in my top 5, and that's not a biased opinion. They're 5, and they're like 5 for 5 in the last 10. And they've lost the last 4 games they've played. Now they played a really good Blue Jays team, so you can sit and argue that. I just feel like they've kind of got a cold streak. I would put the Dodgers a little bit higher up there. The Dodgers are right now 8-2 in the last 10 games, including beating the Padres 5 out of 6 games in that span. The Padres aren't a bad team either. I think the rest are less in line. It'd be nitpicky to sit there and be like, oh, this team. I just feel like the Dodgers need to be a little bit higher, and then the Braves, I don't feel like are my top 5 right now. I feel like they could be a top 5 team, but I just feel like power ranking goings are kind of sliding right now.
David, just to tail off you real quick, bud. I know I said for my bold prediction of the week that, or hot take of the week, that Phillies are going to come in within the next 2 weeks and take over that number 1 spot. However, though, bro, I will say, dude, that Braves roster is really nice and set up very nicely. And no matter what, whether the Phillies overtake them or not, I mean, we just obviously, me and Nick both said that basically the Phillies are almost our 6th spot because they get the honorable mention. But, dude, I mean, I think that Braves team is 100% the top 5 team in MLB. I mean,
yeah, and the thing is I know they had the World Series a couple years ago, which is great. They really capitalized on their cap space. They went over. They hit the luxury tax, but they definitely paid some players to be there. The only issue is, can they get it done? And I think at some point they're going to run out of some steam. The Phillies are finally starting to get their full squad back. That's the reason why they're my honorable mention. That's barring their bullpen. And I still think that they're going to make a trade. And I really think that Schwarber might not be in a Phillies uniform. I think they're going to try to get something big going into the All-Star break.
You know who we're getting, right? Speak it into existence right now. You guys all know who the Phillies are trading for, do we not?
I mean, if you're going to say Ohtani
is coming to Philly, boys. The show
Ohtani.
Is coming to Philly.
If you say Ohtani, I would love to speak that. I would love to see that.
Ohtani's on the trade block. He said if the
How are we paying for Turner, Harper, and Ohtani?
Look,
you're calling us a Yankee.
Hey, the good news is in the MLB, you can go over the amount of cap space you have. You just have to pay a luxury tax. Now, I don't know if you notice or not, but historically, the Phillies are one of the top 10 best teams in baseball and the top 10 richest team in baseball. This year, I believe we're a top 5 on the payroll.
I think they're number 3.
Yeah. So even top 3, better at that, dude. They don't have a problem with breaking the bank. This roster is set up right now.
GM spends money. We'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and we're gonna end off that, guys. Again, we love our fan base. I hope you guys tune in, see David struggle on his hot take. Love you guys. See you next week.
Shout out to moms.
Guys, all on Thursday, boys. Have a great night, everybody.